I think ideas you either act on or you set them free.
I agree with you, Casey. And I've been acting on a lot of my ideas lately. Some I've shared, some I haven't at this point. But the fact is, I have just more than I can deal with. So I'm setting this one free. And what that means is that the idea I share in this video, anybody can use it for whatever they want, commercial, for-profit, non-profit, companies, people. This is totally free. Do what you want with it. So like any idea, it starts with a problem. The problem is that although bandsaws are great for resawing when you have a thick blade on like this, or cutting curves when you have a thin blade on, it is a real pain to switch in between. I had to do that for this video. I was reminded of how irritating it is. Took me over 20 minutes, not a lot of fun. Now there is a solution to this. For twice the cost and twice the space, you can have two bandsaws in your shop, one set up with a thick blade and one with a thin blade, and you're set to go. You don't need to swap out blades, you just move to the saw that's set up with the blade that you want for the operation that you're doing, and it's fine. It just takes up twice the room and costs twice as much. So with problems like this, it helps me to think about, what does a solution look like? What boxes does it need to check? How can it be successful? And the fact that there is a solution, two bandsaws, out there makes for some helpful comparison in this case. So let's break it down. We've got three features that we're worried about. There's the blade change speed, the shop space, and the cost. Now the standard bandsaw, like I said, is terrible on the blade change speed, but takes up the least shop space and is our baseline for low cost. The two bandsaw option is the opposite. Super fast on the blade change speeds, but takes up the most space and costs the most. So the solution that we're looking for is as fast or almost as fast as just having two bandsaws, but takes up less shop space than two bandsaws and costs less than two bandsaws. But what is this solution? So it was David Patoot who really got me thinking about this problem and what could be done about it. Now I've heard him talk on podcasts and tweets and things about his vision for what this looks like, and he seems to envision a solution that involves take a blade off the bandsaw, put a new one in, and servos and motors and sensors and programming adjust the tension and the alignment and the bearing position, and just set everything up automatically for a new blade. And that certainly may be possible. I am not going to be the one to deliver that to the world. I'm more of a simple mechanical solutions kind of guy. And while it's possible, I have a suspicion that it might be so expensive that it's just not feasible for somebody to purchase it. I could be wrong, but that's a whole lot of moving parts and programming and sensors and things that will need to be recouped in the cost of the tool. But I do think I have at least a partial solution, a concept that could be a starting point for a real solution to this problem, something that's better than putting two bandsaws in your shop. So let's take a look. Okay, so here's my idea. Two blades set up on one bandsaw frame at the same time. So you can switch in between them. One's thick, one's thin. You can go from cutting curves to resawing on the thick blade as fast or almost as fast as if you had two bandsaws in the shop. And you'll notice I have blade guards drawn in here. You'll definitely want to have the blade guard on the blade you're not using all the way down. Now there are a number of technical challenges with this. You have to do blade tensioning and alignment for two blades at the same time. You have to deal with a table tilt. I'm thinking 1 point of rotation on the outer blade should be good enough. And you need to design guards and all sorts of miscellaneous features to this. That's why it's a complex thing to develop. And again, why I really have no intention of trying to develop this myself. But I believe all of these things are solvable. So back to our features chart, how does this end up? The two-blade bandsaw is definitely fast on the blade changes. I'd say it takes up only minimally more shop space than a standard bandsaw. It's a little wider, but nowhere near as much as two bandsaws. Now on the cost side, with those technical challenges and some of the complexity, I don't think it'll cost as much as two bandsaws, but maybe closer to two bandsaws than one bandsaw. I'm speculating a bit here, but there is quite a bit of complexity. You have the same number of bearing guides or blade guides as a two bandsaw option, because you still have two blades set up and running at the same time. So even though there's one motor and one frame, it still may cost quite a bit more than a single bandsaw. So the question now is, who can improve on this? Who can come up with something that costs less, is less complex, and is a more elegant solution than this two-blade bandsaw? So there it is. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I would absolutely love for somebody to come along and improve this idea, think of something to tweak it to make it better, or you know what, come up with a concept that's better altogether and just make this obsolete. But this is a very worthy problem to be thinking about. It's a real point of frustration for a lot of people, and it'd be great if we could come together and find a real solution. So let's give it a shot. Thanks, everyone.